Hey, so is it just me, or does this case with Mica Miller Francis and John Paul keep getting more and more strange? And I have questions. And let me say this, I am not coming at anyone. I just believe in being able to ask questions. And that is something that I really like about the people that comment and watch the videos on this case and dissect certain videos in this case, is that you guys really ask great questions. Don't agree with just what everyone else agrees with, or don't just take things at face value. You guys do a good job at scrutinizing evidence and looking at it with a critiquing eye and having good judgment. So I want to start off by saying that congratulations and good job on that. But just like you guys have questions, I also have questions. And some of these situations, it could be a problem of being in too deep. That could be an issue. And having a lot of evidence that you might be sitting on and revealing and not revealing, and people able to understand and people not able to understand, that can get kind of sticky a little bit, I think. And another factor, I feel like, in certain dynamics of this case, it is an issue of dealing with egos. And I really don't feel like that should be a factor in the Mica Miller case, but it kind of always seems to rear its ugly head sometimes. It's the whole ego thing. And, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. It's just something that I've just kind of noticed a little bit in certain situations. So, I think it's important to continue to have very clear discernment in this case, and not always take things at face value, which, like I said before, that's one thing that you guys do an excellent job at. So a certain YouTuber posted a call between them and a mother, and the mother states that his number had been texting her 17-year-old daughter. This was a very, very strange conversation. I was definitely not expecting to hear a live like this. I was caught off guard completely. And it was very strange, as a matter of fact. And some of the things that the mother states about the daughter in the conversation, it seemed like an upset mother. I'm gonna be honest. Now, the call could have been fake, but I think we should look at it from both sides, and not just be on one side that it was completely fake or it was completely real, but to be able to look at it objectively, almost from the outside looking in, to see what kind of made sense and what didn't make sense. So the mother starts off the call very upset, almost irate, I would say. And she's stating that her daughter is, quote, fast. She states that her daughter may beat her up, beat her to a pulp, I think is what her terminology was, if she found out that she called this certain YouTuber. The mother states that the daughter has been participating in protests for justice for Mica, and at the same time claims that the daughter is messing around with John Paul as well as others, which that kind of is my first question, is that why would the daughter be participating in protests for justice for Mica at the church and at the same time messing with John Paul? Now, could this happen? Yeah, it definitely could happen. It just seems strange to be playing both sides. But if we are talking about a 17-year-old's frame of mind, Some are mature and some are not mature at that age, and maybe she's just more on the immature side and wanting attention from several angles, and so that could be plausible. And while she's saying this, the mother, like I said, she sounds upset. She even states names. And the way that she revealed her name, I'm talking about the mother, it was through a story of her talking about her daughter's friend, and her daughter's friend wanted her to come to one of the protests. And she says, well, Miss Becky, da 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 da, trying to convince her to let her daughter go. So the way that she reveals her name seems truthful. I mean, because someone who has a false identity, it seems like they would just kind of come out with a false identity by saying, hey, I'm such and such, or it seems pretty clever if she was doing it on purpose to say it through a story, quoting one of her daughter's friends, and then afterwards she said, oh, by the way, I'm Miss Becky. I guess I should have said that, because, you know, she called so upset. I guess she wasn't thinking about introducing herself. So that, to me, it seemed like something that could happen. Like, you're telling a story, you're reiterating what someone said, they said your name, and then you're like, oh yeah, by the way, that's my name. It seemed like it could be true. I know a lot of people are going to say they don't, feel like it was, and that's okay. That's one thing that, like I said, I like about people involved in this case and following this case, is that you bring excellent questions. So I'm not one of those people that says other YouTubers are like, a lot of their stuff is garbage. No, I think a lot of the YouTubers have put out very good information and asked very good questions, and along with everyone else following the case. So that's just how I feel. It did seem like it came out in a natural flow of emotions. Also, from her starting the call being, like I said, irate, and to kind of calming down and getting a lot calmer as the call came to an end, and even the point where she was apologizing at the end. A lot of times she said, I apologize, I'm sorry. Once she thought that the calls could have been ghost calls and could have been faked. That seemed like a natural flow of emotions, especially from a mother upset about her daughter, then kind of realizing that maybe this is not the case, and maybe this guy is not, the guy that I thought he was, or wasn't the situation I thought it was. So that also seemed like it could be true to me. So now the YouTuber that posted this live with the edits, so we don't know what was edited out, stated at the 24-minute mark that after receiving the first call from the daughter, that they called FBI and the police and gave a number that he thought could have been a Katie. But the FBI looked into it, or the police looked into it, and it wasn't. And that leads me to my next question, because I kind of thought, what number could that have been, since he had no clue who this was? That seemed kind of weird to me. And, he may have a very plausible explanation for giving out a number to the police or FBI contact or whoever he gave the number to, but it just seemed strange that he gave them a number that he thought could have been Katie or a Katie. I'm not sure about that. So if anyone can kind of answer any of these questions, please comment below. I love to read comments. I love everybody's perspective and points of view, because I don't claim to be right or know all the answers. So that just it seemed weird. My next question is slightly off kilter, and that is, what is up with magnolia trees and just trees in general in this case? It just keeps coming up. Do y'all remember when John Paul Miller was doing the News Nation interview, and he says that he fell out of a 300-year-old magnolia tree and broke like 11, 12 bones? He couldn't remember, da 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 da. And this other says, this mother says that he was in her magnolia tree spying on them, her daughter. The ex-wife of John Paul Miller says that John Paul tried to poison her large tree in the front yard so that he could have a good view of what was going on and spy on them. So it just seems like a constant bringing up of trees, and in more specifically magnolia trees. That seems odd to me. I don't know if anyone else feels the same, but that's just something that was a thought in my mind while listening to this. And the other off-kilter thing is the number 300 or 300 and something. I'm not trying to get too conspiracy, but it just seems like the number 300, 300 and something keeps coming up as well. But anyhow, I just wanted to say that. A lot of things that the mother says seems like this information could be fact checkable. I don't know if fact checkable is a word, but the mother states her name. She spits out a lot of information. She says the name CJ. She says John Paul. She says the YouTuber's name. She says her name. She says her daughter's name. She says her daughter's friend's name, Michelle, because at one point she said that she thought her daughter was at Michelle's house, but come to find out she was actually at the hotel. So she's saying a lot of names. She's doing a lot of name calling. She's saying the Filipinos at John Paul's house. She references the hotel. She references playing bridge. She references the magnolia tree. It's just a lot going on. So I have questions, and I really kind of just wanted to, make this more so audio video, and put these questions out that I had. Also, the YouTuber kept telling the mother that he received a call around 11 p.m. I think he said that like 3 or 4 times, that he received a call around 11 p.m., the first call from the daughter, but the picture clearly says 10:02 p.m., which is an hour difference, and it could just be an approximation, maybe 10, 11. I mean, they're pretty close, but he's saying 11, but the call screenshot shows 10:02 to be exact. So he could not just be maybe remembering correctly, or maybe just could be an approximation. There is no time difference between Florida and South Carolina. I made sure to look that up just to check that box, but I don't know. It's just some things that I found strange, and I wanted to come on here and kind of talk about it with you guys and see how you guys felt about this whole situation. So comment below if you feel up to it, and peace.
Not my cup of tea.